Hello, everybody, and welcome to Technology Today for June 15th, 2025, Season 2, Episode 24. I am MayorWatt. I run ohmTown.com, and today we're going to be talking about why bats don't get sick, Hurricane Sandy's hidden impact, a Kyrptonite-like mineral, quieter airplanes, and more efficient optoelectric links. All that's aggregated and much, much more over at ohmTown.com, where there are 50 channels of news that get funneled into 6 main categories. But we funnel all kinds of news into these 6 main categories and those 50 channels, 7 of which have been turned into podcasts and live streams here on Twitch and YouTube. Long-term storage is over on YouTube, so go and follow us over there, like and subscribe. Follow us here on Twitch. I would love for you to subscribe there too. There's a Patreon as well, but we don't really hide anything behind a paywall over at Patreon, but it is there, and you can support us there as well. That said, I am MayorWatt. I run at ohmTown along with the Sentient AI, and everything is powered by ohmTown. Okay, that was interesting. The music stopped right when I stopped. All right, let's get into it. So why don't bats get sick? They say cancer. So why don't bats get cancer? Researchers discover protections from genes and strong immune systems, but they're the carriers for stuff. So not necessarily cancer, but a research study to look at why long-lived bats don't get cancer has broken new ground with biological defenses that resist the disease. The article is over at phys.org. Stephanie Baum edited this, and Robert Egan reviewed it, but it's written by Leslie Orr, University of Rochester Medical Center. So, reporting in the journal Nature Communications, a University of Rochester research team has found that 4 common species of bats have superpowers, allowing them to live up to 35 years. So everybody has to more about, which is equal to about 180 human years without cancer. Vera Gorbanova, PhD, and Andrei Sulanov, PhD, members of the UR, a Department of Biology and Wilmot Cancer Institute, led the work. Their key discoveries about how bats prevent cancer include a gene called p53, a tumor suppressor that can shut down cancer, and mutations in p53 limiting its ability to act properly occur in about half of all human cancers. A species known as the little brown bat found in Rochester and upstate New York contained 2 copies of p53 and an elevated p53 activity compared to humans. They also have an enzyme, telomerase, is inherently active in bats, which allow their cells to proliferate indefinitely. This is an advantage in aging because it supports tissue regeneration. We slowly lose the end telomerase, if cells divide uncontrollably, though, the higher p53 activity in bats compensates and can remove cancerous cells that may arise. Bats have an extremely efficient immune system, knocking out multiple deadly pathogens. As humans age, the immune system slows, and people tend to get more inflammation in joints and other organs, but bats are good at controlling inflammation too. They say this intricate system allows them to stave off viruses and age-related diseases. So how does bat research apply to humans? Cancer is a multi-stage process and requires many hits at normal cells transform into malignant cells. Thus, the longer a person or animal lives, the more likely cell mutations occur in combinations with external factors to promote cancer. But you never freaking know. You never know. I mean, if it was age dependent, then children wouldn't get cancer, but they do. And if it was age dependent, then there would be everybody that is elderly above 70 would have cancer, and that's not the case. So safely increasing the telomerase enzyme might also be a way to apply their findings to humans with cancer, Solanov added, but that's not part of the current study. But they are already targeting the p53 activity as several anti-cancer drugs already do. So Gorbanova is the Doris Johns Cherry Professor of Biology and Medicine and leads the Rochester Aging Research Center at UR Medical Center. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Mobile. Oh, and if you're in the chat over on Twitch, the Twitches, as the kids say, you can hit !TT and Showbot. It's not Showbot, it's ohmTown. Will spit out the articles in the order that we're going over them. So Hurricane Sandy may have altered unborn babies' brains, according to this research, pushing their findings in PLS-1. A team of researchers led by neuropsychologist Donato Delgenis at Queen's College wanted to know what happens. And that new study suggests that a storm's impact actually went deeper than just carving a path of destruction through the Caribbean. And when it was done, it left behind 250 dead people and billions of dollars in damage. But it left a psychological scar on the brains of unborn babies still in the womb along the hurricane's path. Not sure how that actually plays out, but let's see. Louis Prado over at Vice.com put the article together. The team scanned the brains of 34 New York City-born 8-year-olds. 11 of these kids were in utero when Sandy hit, knocking out power, flooding homes, and turning entire neighborhoods into disaster zones, and the rest were prenatal, either before or after the storm. The unborn kids that were in the womb when Sandy hit showed significantly enlarged regions of the brain that help regulate emotion, help developing kids learn how to move and deal with habit formation. And they also found that the fetus, if the fetus experienced extreme heat, as defined by days hotter than 95 degrees Fahrenheit, the effects of the exposure to Hurricane Sandy were amplified. This led to a double whammy of kids having a larger left palladium and a smaller left nucleus accumbens, parts of the brain tied to motivation and action. The hurricane didn't affect the physical world, but it might have impacted the still developing brains of unborn children. It did affect the physical world, though. And we are as much a part of our environment as we're impacted by said environment. So the study had a small sample size and only focused on larger scale brain structures. So there's plenty of room for other research teams to conduct their studies to either verify or dispel some of the findings. This is interesting. So the environmental modifications during the basically the building of this unborn baby may have impacted its long-term, I guess, quality of life, perhaps. I don't know. I think that this needs to be a longitudinal study of these unborn babies, children, etc., all the way up to their final resting day. We should monitor these kids as long as they're willing to, or their parents are willing to support the endeavor and find out if environment does have an impact on humans in utero, for crying out loud. How fascinating would that be? Let's keep going. The next article is over in the Mobile channel. Scientists unlock recent recipe for kryptonite-like mineral that could power a greener future. Scientists at the Natural History Museum have unraveled the geological mysteries behind jaderite, a rare lithium-bearing mineral with the potential to power Europe's green energy transition. So far, has only been found in one place on Earth, Serbia's Jadar Basin. Interesting. Lisa Locke, Robert Egan reviewed and edited this by the Natural History Museum. It's over at phys.org. Discovered in 2004 and described by museum scientists Chris Stanley and Mike Rumsey, jaderite made headlines for its uncanny resemblance to the chemical formula of kryptonite, the fictional alien mineral which depletes Superman's powers. However, today its value is more economic and environmental, offering a high lithium content and lower energy route to extraction compared to traditional sources like spodumene. The team of researchers at the museum have uncovered why this white nodular mineral is so rare. Their findings show that to form jaderite must follow an exact set of geological steps in highly specific conditions. This involves a strict interplay between alkaline-rich terminal lakes, lithium-rich volcanic glass, and the transformation of clay minerals to crystalline structures, which are exceptionally rare. Museum scientists and co-author of the paper published in the Nature Geoscience journal, Dr. Francesco Puzzolo, said that similar baking a cake, everything needs to be measured and exact for this rare mineral to form. For instance, if the mineral ingredients are not just right, the conditions are too acidic or too cold, jadeite will not form. The criteria seems to be so precise that we've not yet seen it replicated anywhere else on Earth. There it is. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. All right. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Technology Today. Choir singers help researchers design quieter planes. As the beautiful harmonies of the Century Singers echo through the hallway, dozens of microphones pick up sounds of their voices while software tracks each note. This may not sound like a typical aerospace engineering experiment, but the research may prove commercial or military airplane improvements. So the article is over at techexplore.com. Robert Egan edited the video or the article. Alyssa Scheschinger over at Texas A&M University put the article together. Yeah, so led by Darren Hartle, Dr. Darren Hartle, an associate professor of aerospace engineering and aerospace engineering PhD student Kevin Lieb. The multidisciplinary experiment aims to further develop a unique instrument built by Lieb, senior design science students, and other graduate students that can detect where a sound is coming from, allowing researchers to quote-unquote see sound. Previous tests of the acoustic imaging instrument used an airplane wing in a wind tunnel to track single sounds and noises. The sounds from the previous tests could be boring, so we decided to test the instrument in a more right-brained way. Hartle and Lieb decided to call upon a small subset of Century Singers, a 100-member concert choir of men and women, and the second oldest choral ensemble at Texas A&M University, and the students sang in front of the instrument, allowing their voices to be seen. This experiment allowed us to explore more of the instrument's capabilities. It probably is just a... Anyway, I'm not going to worry about it. I always seem to suss out how this stuff is done when I hear about it. So with techniques like this, we're able to look at a plane and not just ask, is it loud, but why is it loud? Lieb said we can address where the sound is coming from and what we can do about it, which makes this a really cool diagnostic technique. Quieter planes are important for a variety of reasons, from comfort to basically the environment to military operations. So if you've ever flown, you may notice that you take off and then all of a sudden it feels like the thrust falls off because once you're in the air, that's noise control regulation. No, but okay. Pilots have to cut back so the planes don't expose neighborhoods too loud of sound. Anything we can do to reduce aircraft noise is good. It's probably because they cut back on acceleration, because once they're in the air, they can rely on the updraft of the wings, not the jet engines themselves so much, because they're actually trying to break free from gravity, get out of air compaction and use the lift from the bottom of the wing. Anyway, so the experiment gives an insight into sound that we don't usually think about when we sing. We mostly listen to each other, make corrections, and looking at the science of sound using these sensors give us additional insight about our voices and ways we can improve. All right. The next article and the last one for today's Technology Today is over in Technology Today. High-speed DAC paves way for faster and more efficient optical and electrical links and data centers. At the 2025 Symposium on VLSI Technology and Circuits, IMEC, a research and innovation hub in nanoelectronics and digital technologies, and ID Lab, an IMEC research group at Ghent University and University of Antwerp, Belgium, announced a significant breakthrough in high-speed digital to analog conversion. So Sadie Harley and Robert Egan edited and reviewed this article by IMEC So essentially what they're saying here is a new 7-book, 150, what is it? Hold on. I haven't even seen that. If I have seen it, I've forgotten what it is. Hold on. GSA. Let's see. Gee, I knew that was going to come up. Yeah, I need to look up this little bit of information. Let's see. So what is that? Gigasamples per second. Oh, I should have known that. Duh. So anyway, gigasamples per second, digital to analog converter, fabricated in a 5 nanometer FinFET CMOS process, achieves data rates of up to 300 gigabits per second using PAM4 modulation, designed to address the growing demand for faster data center links. The DAC combines speed and power efficiency, setting up a new standard for wireline data conversion. So, you need more volume. You basically need power efficiency. You need to increase power or increase the efficiency of the digital and to analog and analog to digital conversion. So you need to basically be ultra efficient and not have to worry about error correction. Ultra fast ADCs and DACs are therefore essential to ensure data flow in next generation wireline systems. Conventional architectures often fall short, resulting in signal degradation and power inefficiencies. Ta-da! So they've come up with a DAC that addresses the challenges by achieving a high speed 150 gigasample per second sample rate, capable of generating data rates of up to 300 gigabits bits. Little b is bits, big B is bytes. So there's 8 bits in a byte. Using PAM4. With increasing data rates, PAM4 has emerged as the preferred modulation scheme in data centers, enabling faster data transfer without requiring more bandwidth. All right, folks. Well, I'm going to digitally convert myself to analog by moving us back to the Technology Today front page and saying I'm going to take a break for a second. And then I'll be back to do FourWheelTech real quick and then try to get Non Sequitur news done tonight as well. But we'll see. It might. I need to do some mayoral activities here in a minute. So I'll see you and we'll be right back. Bye-bye.